Good evening, classmates and Miss Gracia. I'm Modesto Guillen.
Reyes.
Andrea Urrutia,
Ariana Rojas,
and Paoleth Iza.
We choose the topic 10 ways to have a good conversation from TED Talks, and we're gonna say or talk about the why we agree with the topic or the 10 ways that the woman who was talking spoken. We're gonna say or talk about so many details for why we agree.
Well, the first is don't multitask. Now it is very common that decided in a restaurant with friends or family, the persons generally have a cell phone and don't be present in the conversation. And for that reason, the old people is more like communicate with the others because the young people just have a cell phone and just use the test, and forget that it's very important talk with the people for have very good relations. And other is don't quality takes that is don't do question that you know what is the response because that is so noisy and you can have a good response or bad response, and you need to know what is the correct way to ask something, and for that reason we are agreed with that two things.
actually we have some complaints with when we communicate with other people because when we want to communicate in a good way we have to follow some instruction as my friend mentioned and my other friends gonna mention. But what I am going to talk about is when we want to ask for something to someone, we have to ask a specific question because if you don't, the answer of that person is just gonna be like yes or no, and your conversation won't be good because you won't know how that person is feeling and what happened with that person or what kind of problem that person has. Another thing that you have to follow is let the thing flow. So when you are in a conversation, you can think before to talk. You have to be the person that you are. If you have to say the thing that you believe, don't make up things. You have to be honest with the person that you are talking and other things.
Okay, the next point that we are disagree. It's that if we don't know the answer of something, we will say that we don't know the answer because maybe the other person who's we're talking, will know the answer. So we cannot like say whatever thing, and we also will answer something if we know it. The next point where we are disagree too, it's that we don't equal the experience that another person is talking us. For example, if somebody said us that her father died, we won't say it like a cousin of our family of, or a friend died too, only for to feel the same thing in the conversation. We only will like follow the conversation, but not exactly saying the same things because it will be maybe boring or we won't know what else say.
The next point is try to not repeat the same things. For example, people who only talk about the same topic in a conversation is really boring. And we are agree with that point because we don't like to talk to people who only repeat the same thing. The next point is state out opinions. For example, don't give a lot of details. People don't like to know the date or the specific hours of some things happen, and for this reason, we need to know to don't give a lot of details because people don't get interesting about it.
Another thing that we agree is the most of the people have to listen to the other person they're talking to. Try to be focused on what the person is talking about to show that you care about what the person is talking to. There's a quote that says most of the people listen to the accent to reply, not to understand. We should care about that. We should think about what the other people think or feel or they want to be listened. Uh, the last but not least is to be brief. Uh, People who over talk, is sometimes is really annoying, uh, and people lost the care about them, and it's kind of complicated to understand what the person is talking about because people overthink and then overtalk, and we don't understand at the end of the conversation. At the end of the video, the the woman who was talking provide a lot of advices to to improve a new way to have a conversation. We should practice these 10 ways to have a good conversation. And in my opinion, uh, people who has a really conversation is have a really good connection and understand the other person who is talking to, and don't lie to them, and they have a really good confidence. So this is my conclusion. I don't know the conclusion, Andrea.
I think that it's very important maintain a conversation with other people because it's the better way to know who is the other people, what they like it, what they don't like, and for that reason, the good friends are where when you know what who is the other people, and I think that the conversation front to front is very important for that.
What I think is that we know what are the kind of conversation that we used to complain with other people, like religion, politics, are topics that we used to be disagree, but different ideologies and different belief. So what we have to do is not to try to do not talk about those topics because we are going to have a kind of discussion there. So it's not good.
We also need to consider that technology is an important device that we have today, and it helps us to communicate with people that is far away. But we need to understand that when we have the opportunity to have a conversation front to front with another person, that moment needs to be like special because we can like share our feelings or our emotions, the things that we are feeling in that moment. So we should to be like concentrated in that person and what about we are saying in that moment.
For me, one conclusion is that, for example, the video talk about a lot of points, but if we only work in one of these points, also we can make a or create a good conversation with another people.
The points of the woman are equals. If we don't practice one of these points, we should develop another. I think that the person needs to be needs to have an open mind to tell the truth to the other people, to the other person, and this is the principal way or the principal point that people needs to have to really have a really connection to the other one. So this was our video from this week. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.